All right, guys, welcome back to the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast. I am so excited for you to be here with me once again. If you've been showing up consistently, doing the work, casting the vision, leading your team, but something feels off, this episode is for you. Actually, the series I'm going to kick off a leadership wake up call. In today's episode is going to be a short preview of what is to come. I'm going to actually do a multi part series coming up to help you. There's times where we feel off. You are not crazy, you're not broken, but you might be overlooking the real problem in yourself, and from there into your team. And so on this episode of the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast, I'm just going to give you a quick preview into the new series, The Leadership That Works. This is a practical, no fluff breakdown into your leadership and how you can fix it. Here's the truth that we all face is that, most leadership problems don't start where we think they do. We have blind spots. We all have them. I have them. Um, and we're dealing with changes in the economy, maybe your systems or processes, your strategy. The leadership is not about those things. It's actually rooted down into some fundamental areas I'm gonna expose and pull back. These are not probably new to you, but maybe not presented in this way, in this framework. And so if we're not looking at these holistically in any one of these areas, left unchecked, we could have erosion, lack of clarity, momentum. For any of you that have had a car or a home that you have left something unchecked for a while, things keep working, and eventually there can be a serious breakdown if left unchecked. These aren't things usually that just happen overnight. There's something that's like a leaky pipe. Not changing the oil on your car over time doesn't happen overnight, but something that really can be damaging if you don't pay attention. And so I'm going to give you just a quick breakdown, and we're going to go into much greater detail here in upcoming episodes. But I want to give you just a taste of what we're going to get into over the next 5, 6 episodes. We're going to be breaking down 5 key areas. The first one we're going to jump into is communication, and this is the kind of a no-brainer, right? When things get dropped, there's drama, there's confusion, that becomes the norm. That affects your leadership. That affects you in your relationships, affects you in the workplace. How many of you guys have faced this? Um, and so we're going to dive into communication as our first episode. So come back next week when we do another episode of the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast, and join us as we break this down and help you get clearer and paying attention to these areas. Next, we're going to look at relationships. Obviously, that's very much tied to communication. Where does trust start to erode? Where are there turf wars? Where are there silos? Right? Where are we not living in healthy relationships with one another? And that goes into our third area, which is alignment. When everyone's busy, they're going, the mission gets blurry, the focus, the objectives that we actually wanted to achieve can get lost. We start to drift, and we're not on target where we really want to be. This happens in individuals, this happens in organizations, and can be truly detrimental to the long-term success of both you as an individual and the organization you're a part of, which then goes into area number 4, which is execution, follow through, right? Making sure that we're hitting all the things that we said we were going to do. There's an alignment going there, but also, are we executing on there? What's falling through the cracks? Where results stall out, right? People aren't taking initiative. We're going to get into execution, and ultimately, if we can execute, how can we improve our capacity? Because what happens is when we burn out, when we're frustrated, our capacity diminishes. If that's the norm, we're living in unhealthy ways, and we're not leading by example. We're always working to the bone. We don't have the ability for capacity. We want to look at that. So 5 areas we're going to dive into. My goal is that it'll be a 5-part series. We may have more depending on your feedback and comments. Um, Covering communication, relationships, alignment, execution, and capacity. These 5 areas are really key, and we're going to unpack these in this series of leadership that works. Why does this ultimately matter in the long run? Is because these issues are more common than most people, even leaders, actually admit. And I'm not speaking from a consultant just throwing out, you know, this from the sidelines. You guys, I have lived this over 25 years in the environmental consulting space, having worked with multiple firms, private sector, public sector. I've seen this. And so it's taking real world experience infused with my own personal development and training, using all these different tools. And so, I've been that leader pushing hard without getting the results that I desired. I started to burn out a little bit, right? I felt the weight, wondering, what am I missing? What's not working here? How can I improve this? And so this is why I'm creating this series, is to help you, if whether you believe it or not, you are a leader, help you clearly see again, to take action and to focus on the things that truly matter. So, what can you do to prepare for this upcoming series? Make sure you're subscribed to the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast. If you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe and share it with others. I do this podcast platform on all the different ones. So you're finding me, whatever that one is for you. Great. I also even put it on YouTube so you can catch the video if you like the video and want to see me. That's great too. I love that. But share this little circle with your friends. I'm making it short and and sweet to make it easy to share. I know we're all distracted. We got a lot of stuff going on, but this, I feel, is very meaningful and helpful in this time of like a lot of things going on. We've got a lot. I'm here in the beginning of April. We have new laws going on. We have things federal, state, all a lot of things. There's a lot of confusion. There's lots of uncertainty. But here's one thing I know: you can lead yourself well. You can show up for yourself and then in turn show up for others. But let's help you be a strong, healthy leader. And so, go check out past episodes so you can see some things that we've talked about in the past. Um, and I'm happy to talk with you individually as well. I have a number of people coming on through my other podcast, Business Roundtable podcast, which I encourage you to check out as well. We talk a lot about the business owners' problems and challenges they're facing, but leadership comes down to yourself first. You've got to get that dialed in. So here's the thing. We're going to dive into communication in our next episode. So I don't want you to miss out on that. And just start, if you subscribe and start getting us, you'll get the episodes every week. I release them every week. So they'll pop up in your feed. And that way you can start listening to them and sharing what you're learning, sharing your comments and feedback. Remember, you haven't failed. You're not done yet. You're still working. Don't get discouraged if you're not quite where you want to be. I've been there. I've had those challenges and I continue to, but I want to help you along the way. Together, we will go further. I appreciate you guys coming with me along the journey of the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast, leaving your comments and reviews. It means so much to me. And I'm excited to bring this series to you in the coming weeks as we go through May, into end of April, into May. We want to lead strong as we go further into 2025. It's hard to believe we're already here in May, the second April going into May in our second quarter of 2025. So join me on this leadership wake up call, this way of looking at things, breaking things down. And I look forward to having you guys back in our next episode, focusing on communication, where we'll get deeper into this understanding of leadership and a framework to help you move becoming that most intelligent human leader. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys, on this episode of the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast. Until next time, take care and be well.